Happy Friday, America, and thanks again for joining us right here on the Discussion Combustion Production YouTube channel. Hope you're ready to have some fun and kick your weekend off, right, as we do every single Friday. You just got done rocking the frickin' shinnas. They frickin' rock your Friday every frickin' time. That's the frickin' shinnas, of course. My name's Kevin Batstone. I'm ready to have some fun. I'm cranked up. The energy is good right now, and I couldn't do it, of course, without my man, Arthur, with the always appealing apparel, Rawe.
Oh, I see why you said that was a tongue twister. In case y'all don't know out there, we come up with these creative names that we like to call each other every week. It's part of the Friday fun, and we're really happy to be bringing in this Friday. And as always, what are we kicking it off with, Kev?
Oh, we definitely got some history on this March 22nd. Let's go, Art.
All right, so 1775. This is Happy Friday, America, people. And so I had to put this one in here. British MP Edmund Burke makes a speech to the English Parliament advocating for peace with the American colonies. And you know why? It's because we whipped that ass. Because we are America, baby.
Go USA.
Let's go. But coming from the UK, actually, 1963, the Beatles actually released their first album today on March 22nd in 1963, Please Please Me.
What's your favorite Beatles song of all time?
Maybe like Flowers, like the Field of Flowers one.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Get By with a Little Help from Your Friends.
That's a good one, too.
Yep.
We just
listened to that, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. What a knockout album they had. Everybody loves them so much. And speaking about knockouts, 1967, Muhammad Ali KOs Zora Folley in the 7th round for maybe for his 7th heavyweight boxing title, or maybe his first. I'm not too sure on that one.
Either way, it happened on this day in history.
It did. March 22nd.
It happened.
March 22nd. France also dropped a big bomb. We're talking nukes, baby. We are always hearing,
news.
Yeah, we're always hearing about the USSRs. We're always hearing about the United States. So France performs a nuclear test in 1978. USSR did have a couple on this day in history too, but I'm leaving those out of here. And then one cool one, 2019. So now we're jumping.
Recent history.
Yeah, recent history. These last two. So mind-blowing discovery announced of a 518 million year old fossil site near the Danshui River in Bubei Province, China, with thousands of unknown fossils well preserved.
Wow.
Okay. So that was a tongue twister.
That was a tongue twister. I'll give you that.
I feel like there was some other articles I saw on that we may have covered when this was Happy Friday Denver, and it's just cool because they're discovering all these old animals that used to exist on this planet.
Yes, indubitably. And something happened in 2023 with a man I'm not too fond of.
Okay, yeah. So this one, we all know who Bill Gates is. So in 2023, a year ago today, he said that the development of artificial intelligence is the most important technological advance since the graphical user interface GUI, and that was created in 1980. So we got Bill out here saying stuff like that. AI is still going to remain a conversation until the end of my days. I guarantee it.
It's definitely not going anywhere. It's going to keep rocking. And, of course, Bill Gates is going to be involved with it. Not shocking. And that is today in history, folks. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move it on. So we talked a little bit on Discussion Combustion Podcast last night about the solar eclipse that's coming on April 8th. And so I found a fun article here about how do animals react during a solar eclipse in total darkness, because to them they just know sun comes up, sun goes down, concepts of time, that's it, that's all I have. So if they end up in total darkness in the day, how are these animals going to respond? And there's not a lot of research done on it, but the last one that we had in 2017, they were able to determine that the turtles and the tortoises and turtles wouldn't be tortoises
or tortoise
the tortoise.
Tortoises. Yes.
Okay, they determined that the tortoises had zero reaction and gave zero shits. Okay. They didn't care.
They're like, it's a cloud.
Yeah, they didn't move. They're just like, whatever, I'm chilling.
Yeah, because doesn't it just seem like there's a cloud?
Probably. But in total darkness, and in the middle of the day, is alarming.
But is it like total darkness?
In the places that get the
it's like
a total eclipse.
It's like pitch black all of a sudden for a moment?
Yep, because
it really gets that dark?
There's no moonlight, there's no sunlight at that moment.
So it really gets that
dark.
For,
what is it, 4 minutes and 50 seconds, roughly?
Pitch black. No
And that's
way.
why we see the partial eclipses like we were talking about with Hundo.
I don't think it's actually pitch black, is it?
In the total eclipse, yeah. We only see partial eclipses here in Colorado. Hasn't
So
come
if you're
all
like
the way
in
over
the dead center of this eclipse,
us. It's dark.
it gets pitch black.
It gets pretty dark.
Interesting.
So obviously in play, not everywhere's going to be pitch black. How are these
Yeah.
animals going to respond? And so there's going to be a lot of research done with this upcoming eclipse that's coming up here. What do you think's going to happen? Will the giraffes gallop around? Will the apes start singing? Are the wolves going to howl? Where they're not going to howl at the moon?
Yeah. I don't know what's going to go on, but I feel like the animals, if anything, there has to be a conspiracy behind solar eclipses and how it affects everything deep down, and maybe it does affect the animals.
It's possible.
But I don't know.
There hasn't been enough research done on it.
Maybe it's when maybe this is when the first werewolf was created during a solar eclipse.
Well, they happen so infrequent.
Infrequent.
They happen infrequently. So there's not a lot of, and they're short. Like I said, they only last for a short amount of time. So they could be taking a nap and miss the whole damn thing.
That's true. It could have just been a cloud.
It could have been a
But
cloud.
my theory is that like when vampires and werewolves first came into existence, they probably came into existence during an eclipse.
It's possible. It's very. That would be a fun talking point.
That's where I'm going with that one.
Well, we'll see how the animals react, and the birds and whatnot, and the pigeons, of course. I'm curious to see how these pigeons are going to react. You got something on pigeons for us?
Yeah, we're gonna dive into pigeon news next, and I got pulled into carrier pigeons. Look, pigeons wearing crystal meth like. Okay, so the penitentiary pigeons, okay, is what I want to talk about first. They're out here smuggling meth into prisons. And in these little backpacks, this guy's he's out there, he's on guard duty, and he sees this pigeon and it has a backpack on. He's like, what is going on with this? And so he opens it up and there's crystal meth in this backpack.
Contraband.
So how do these guys do this? They could easily just throw a pigeon over like the thing, right? They throw it over the fences. A guy in the yard grabs a pigeon. And
I mean, it's pretty hard to catch a pigeon.
And then what if it's slightly injured and needs to be rehabilitated?
That's
fair. And then you rehabilitate it in your prison cell or like
you train it to drug smuggle?
Well, then that it feels like that's its home. So the trick is with the pigeons is you get them to return home.
Okay.
With whatever it is. So then if you could make the pigeon feel like that is its home, then if you get it out, you can get stuff to bring it back. So that's kind of how carrier pigeons work.
Okay.
And as I was thinking about this, I'm like, how many pounds have carrier pigeons actually carried throughout history? There was no answer to this question online. So this involved me doing some research here. So I was doing some research about pigeons in World War I and just some of the numbers that we were seeing in here. So in one mission, like the British or somebody, they dropped 16,000 pigeons into an active occupied war zone in Europe. And they had these pigeons in these little boxes with like food for 10 days and left like a piece of paper and stuff. So then soldiers could find these pigeons and like write a note and then the pigeon would return, right? Only like 1,600 of those 16,000 returned with notes. And then also there's a British ship that had like 100,000 carrier pigeons in it that they were going to use for military service stuff. Those all died in a ship sinking.
Wow.
So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, dude, there's at least been because look, it's been since the Middle Ages to the 1800s. Like that's when it was created. So for a really long time, there has to at least have been 500 million carrier pigeons in my prediction.
That's a lot.
Okay, so with 500 million carrier pigeons, if each pigeon can have 2.5 ounces, and we're talking one trip per pigeon, that comes out to 1,250,000,000 ounces, which is right under 80 million pounds.
Okay.
And so if you divide that by 40,000 pounds, which is a full truckload, you get about 2,000 full truckloads of carrier pigeon
in a 53-foot
goods.
semi.
Yep, in a 53 semi. And if we put that into football fields, because this is America, baby, then it's about 14.75 football fields worth of contraband, legal or illegal, has been carried by carrier pigeons in history.
That's a lot of freight getting moved by the bird.
Yeah, I had fun going off on that. on the pigeon news, but people are still using carrier pigeons, man.
That's kind of crazy to think.
Yeah.
I mean, because it makes sense now if you train it to know it always has to come back. But like when it goes to get the freight or it goes to get the shipment, how does it know where to go?
Well, somebody has to then bring it there, right? So you take the pigeon from its home, you bring it to the location to where you need the stuff sent back.
Oh, okay. So it basically remembers two
Go
geographic points in its mind. Go here to work, go home to where my home is.
Yeah, or maybe you take the pigeon there to get the goods attached to it, and then it just remembers to go home.
I see.
I think the main thing is that it knows where its home is, and it goes home.
Birds are pretty smart,
Yeah.
as we have talked about in the past. They're pretty in touch with what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're definitely very well, geographically aware, if that's the case. Because you figure we see the
Well, then you got the butterflies, the monarch butterflies, like flying from Canada into Mexico.
That's true.
It's crazy.
Migration. But like out front of our studio, we have those Canadian geese that they know that's home. They go wander out all day.
That's
And
true.
then they come back to the base camp.
That's true.
So that's
true.
that's a cool article. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Oh yeah, no, I had fun going down that pigeon math.
That's a pigeon. That's a pigeonhole.
There
Not a
was-
rabbit
there was-
hole. That's a
There
pigeonhole.
was no answers about that online, and you found
There is now.
There is now on Happy Friday America.
Yes. Yeah. You heard it here first on March 22nd, 2024. And here we go. We're going to keep moving to Kev's Random Records. This week we're talking food. We like talking food, of course. This is a fun one. So for folks that don't know what a dosa is, it's basically like an Indian crepe.
I did not know what this was.
I pictured it as, I thought it was more like a samosa, but maybe I was getting samosa and dosa.
Isn't samosa like a drink?
No, it's a similar to the look of like a pierogi, but it's stuffed with Indian, curry and chicken and stuff like that. And I probably fucked that up. Someone will correct me on that, but that's how I understand chicken samosa to be.
Okay.
So an Indian company celebrated its 100th anniversary by cooking up a dosa that was 123 feet long.
Okay.
That's massive. So that tells me it was rolled up kind of like a crepe. You typically see that rolled up with. We've seen strawberry and cheese inside of it. You can put other food inside of it. What makes it a crepe is the exterior, and then you roll it up. 123 feet long was this sucker.
And then they rolled that thing up.
They rolled it up, and I'm guessing
Okay.
they measured it end to end at 123 feet.
Wow.
So pretty massive. It now holds the Guinness Book of World Record as the largest dosa, which is absolutely massive.
It is.
It beat the previous record of 54 feet. And so that's almost double the previous record.
No, they slapped that old record hard.
They raised the bar big on this one.
Yeah, they put some extra pound. They put some 45s on it. But here's the thing, is with these mega cooks, like and these big old biggest pizzas, biggest cookies ever made, whatever they're doing, is this thing actually getting consumed? And personally, I would love to be part of the group that is like, all right, let's finish this together.
Well, yeah,
you're
feed the
looking
community.
at this big old thing, and you're all like, together we can finish this meal. It's like
Yeah.
this huge ass.
No, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. It took 75 chefs together. It was a team.
Okay,
It was a team
75
cook.
of them, wow.
So they assembled some of the best chefs that they could gather in the area that knew how to make these suckers, and they full sent it. And hopefully they fed the community and had a big eat with it all.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a lot of food.
No, you got to do that.
You got to do that.
And that has to be the way. You got to be like, hey, we're doing this, we're breaking this record, and then we all get to eat it.
We're gonna have a piece.
Yeah,
I
would show up to an event like that. If somebody left a card on our door about hey, we're cooking the biggest bowl of spaghetti ever.
That would be pretty massive.
Or what would be something more cool?
Like the biggest pizza ever, the longest sub.
Uh-huh.
Those have been done though.
How about the smallest sausage? It's like a wrapped up sausage.
Why would you want to eat a small sausage?
Well, has anyone done a record like that? It's yeah, sure, they got the big sausage records, but what about the small sausage?
That's true.
Completely small, compact sausage. Does that record exist?
The little mini sausages.
Yeah, and then
micro sausage.
And you can make little mini hot dogs with those things, or sausage.
Oh yeah, like the
brats.
little weenies, or what do they call those? There's a word for them.
mini weenies.
Beanie Weenies.
The meanies?
Yeah, they're good. But yeah, I guess the little sausages need love too. Sausages come in all sizes.
Yes.
So that's a good point you make up there. I don't know. I think I'd rather go with like the mega sub or the mega pizza, and just everyone gets a slice.
Yeah.
You feed a large group of people.
Hey man, everything sounds good to me right now, especially some pasta.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm getting.
We got to keep it moving.
I'm getting hungry here.
Let's give it up for Friday. We got to keep it moving.
We got to keep moving. So that's Kev's Random Records, and now we're moving on to the Would You Rather segment. But of course, we got to recap last week's results.
Yeah. What happened last week with all that?
So for the folks that don't remember, need a quick reminder. Last week's Would You Rather was: Would you rather lose your keys or your phone?
Mm-hmm.
And Art, you and I both said we'd rather lose our phone.
Yes.
For obvious reasons, easier to replace, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So if you head on over to our Twitter X page over there at Happy Fry USA, you can take the polls. They go up every Friday morning, or just drop a comment down below here on YouTube. So the results are in. 67% said they would rather lose their keys.
Okay.
And only 33% went with us on their phone,
really?
Which I think we kind of predicted.
Okay.
People are
well connected.
It's the binky.
It is the binky.
They don't want to lose the binky.
It is the binky.
And like your point last week, a lot of folks have keys,
all this stuff
ring
on it.
cameras, car. You can start your car, all that shit from their phone.
Yep.
So if you're in that position, it's like, okay, that's my lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the results. It was 2/3 majority would rather lose their keys. That kind of tells us where we're at, America.
No, that's interesting. I like it when we're outnumbered. Thank you for participating in last week's Would You Rather. And of course, I got a good one for this week.
And it's not in the script, so this will be my first time hearing it as well.
Yes, and we actually, impromptu. Life is kind of better when you live it impromptu.
Full send.
Sometimes you just got to like do it as it happens. So, in this week's WYR, Would You Rather, aliens actually exist, and you have the power to inform the world. Will you let the world know? Why or why not?
So I have the power. I know that aliens exist.
Mm-hmm.
I've been let in on all the information.
And
I have the choice to either keep that to myself
or
inform the world. See, the thing is, I would say I'd inform the world. The problem is, like we talk about with everything, they're going to think I'm a Yahoo, an uncredible source, and it's going to get disregarded. But I'm still going to take informing the world. I do 3 podcasts a week. I'm going to do some talking about it.
Yeah. So you're talking about the aliens. I'm
talking about it, baby.
And you're exposing it.
I'm exposing it.
Now, what kind of like societal effects do you think would happen?
Well, like I said,
if if it got out though, and like people were like, yes, this is true, aliens do exist. What do you think would happen to society?
I think you'd have just like everything that happens, especially here in America, you'd have a very, very mixed, divided reaction. You'd have the mass hysteria. People would be panicking, saying, running around like crazy, the world's ending, blowing out grocery stores, you name it. And then you'd have the other half that doesn't believe it. Probably the more religious side of the community would be like, yeah, we're just going to let whatever happens. We trust God. I think it'd be pretty split.
Interesting. With that one, I'm not too sure on that one. I think I would... what are the consequences?
I don't know. You came up with Would You Rather.
Well, and it's like, we hear about real conspiracies and people who try to open that up. Like sometimes,
they get 86'd.
Disappear. Yeah,
86'd off the grid.
So, if I knew and I could inform the world and the world would believe me,
that's a good point.
But it's like who would then be upset if I did it? So I don't know, man. It's really who I'm playing with. I would say. Knowledge is power, and let's spread the information.
I think I'm going with that as well.
That's where I'm going on this. But if it was like some real life stuff where they're like, look, your life will, if you keep talking about, that's it. I'd be like, okay, maybe I didn't see that.
Well,
I don't know.
We touched on that a little bit last night on Discussion Combustion, of course. So there's a lot of that going on out there. Let us know what you would choose over there at Twitter X, Happy Fry USA, or just right down below in the comments on this week's Would You Rather. All right, let's keep it moving to some video game news. I know we talked about Nintendo Switch 2 a few months back. So everyone's been kind of waiting for the PS5 Pro, including myself. When the PS5 came out, I was not quick to jump on it because I'm like...
You still haven't?
I still haven't because I'm waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. I need a reason to buy this console. So, of course, it makes sense they're going to drop this sucker. Probably, I'm guessing the holiday season. We don't have a confirmed date yet.
Okay.
But we know how this works. They're probably going to drop it in October for the holiday season purchasing, right? And just like everything, I want to wait as long as possible because the first rollout, there's usually bugs and shit that they got to fix with it. But if you scroll down and read this article, if you're a gaming nerd, like my brother is, the nuts and bolts and the guts of this thing, it's going to be the most powerful console yet to man. Just in terms of its processing power, its memory, its RAM speed, ray tracing, all those nerdy terms that I don't really know what they mean, but it sounds cool. I'm just a gamer that's ready for GTA 6. So I'm hoping what PS5 does is they do a bundle, PS5 Pro, GTA 6 bundle, and I bet you it's going to be $800. Woof. It's going to be a big drop. It might be $700 because I think right now it's still. I think it came down to $499 for the basic PS5.
Yeah.
And so the PS5 Pro is going to be a little juicier than that.
So it's like what you're going to pay like $600 for the console, $100 for the game.
Pretty much.
Something like that. Yeah, I could see that happening. The PS5. I mean, look, PlayStation has always been making some dope consoles. Like, we're from the birth years of video games.
Yes.
Like when they were 2D platformers.
Side scrollers.
And we've seen what downloadable content and online play and transactions, we've seen what that's done to the gaming community.
You're dependent on the internet, really, to play games now. Which
is kind of that's a bummer in my mind.
It is. I mean, you could play offline still, but you need the updates. You need all the shit still.
It's true.
Patches. And as we record this, PlayStation Network was down. It's down. So it's like you have these servers go down that affect millions of gamers that pay good money to be on there. So there's a lot of moving parts in the video game world.
Yep. And back in the day, you would actually have the game. You could play it on a power generator if you had a power generator, and that was the only thing you had.
Yeah.
Or like in a car. And so I kind of miss that, but the stuff is pretty awesome here. One game that I really do want to play, but I am more of a solo game player, and I've looked at all the reviews, and it's better played with friends, is Helldivers 2. I've been wanting to jones out on that. Like, I've been watching videos on it, and the lore is so cool. It's kind of like Starship Troopers, but it's like a video game.
Okay.
So that looks hella dope. But, I'm all about this. If I was going to really invest and try to get the money to do something like game hard, I'm saving up for a gaming PC because no consoles have real-time strategy games, and that's really like my jam on toast.
Yeah, PC gaming is very different than console gaming, of course. I mean, even when it comes to racing games and the simulators that they have, it's usually on PC. But I'm a console guy, kind of always have been, going back to the NES, Super Nintendo days. That's where I started. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'll buy it the second it comes out. I'm trying to get as close as I can to the drop of GTA 6, but what I'm concerned is there's going to be inventory restraints.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, look what happened when the first PlayStation 5 came out. Like, there was you
nothing.
Couldn't even find it. You couldn't find it for like a whole year.
But that was also during a time where there was production issues as well. There was chip shortages, there was shipping issues.
And then other things happening.
Yeah, there was a lot going on during that time. So I'm just hoping that Sony and these guys are ready for what's about to happen with Grand Theft Auto, because it's a huge bull run between Microsoft and Sony to who's going to sell the most. It's going to be cross-compatible, from what I understand, for online gaming.
Gonna be dope.
It's going to be next level.
That is next level.
Yep.
Speaking about next level, as far as generosity and giving back to the community, out there in Phoenix, Arizona, we had a wonderful group of Girl Scouts that donated nearly 2,000 Girl Scout boxes to a community shelter out there in Phoenix. So that's really great. We always like to highlight wonderful acts. They actually did that on my birthday,
That's
March
terrific.
18th. Let's give it up. And so I had a couple questions with this. They gave away 19,000 boxes.
19,000?
Yeah, 1,900, sorry.
Oh, okay.
1,900 boxes of Girl Scout cookies, pallets worth. Like, you see it's pallets. How much do you think 1,900
boxes
of Girl Scout cookies is worth?
Well, if they're $10 a box, it would be 19,000. I don't know if it's $10 a box. I can't remember now. I don't think it's more than that. So I'm going to say about 15 grand.
That's pretty close. It said about 12 grand.
Okay.
About 12 grand was the total worth of this.
So they're like $7 a box.
Yeah, and maybe they got them in like the bulk deal.
Yeah.
Something a little bit less.
Yeah, the case deals.
Yes, and because it was a donation or something. But got me thinking, what is your favorite Girl Scout cookie? And more importantly, which one is the worst?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I actually have some in my freezer.
Okay.
And that would be the green box. We all know them, the Thin Mints.
Yes.
That's my favorite.
Eating out of the freezer, too. That's the classic move with those.
It is.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
Out of the freezer, it's refreshing. It's delicious. And, the other great thing about it is it's out of sight, out of mind. I forget they're in there.
That's true.
And then sometimes I go in there to grab something, like, oh, yeah, there's the Girl Scout cookies.
You're like,
And
oh,
I'll
yeah.
have a little treat.
There you go.
They're not in my view, because if they're in my view, I'm going to eat them.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone.
That is true. That is true.
My least favorite,
Yeah.
it's going to be the Samoan.
The Samoan.
Yep.
Really?
And it's
You don't like the coconut?
no, I like coconut. I just don't like it on a cookie.
You don't like the caramel?
No. Now I had to pick my least favorite. I'm not saying that I dislike it.
And you looked at we looked at the whole list of all these.
Yeah,
and you've tried every single one.
I have.
Okay.
I think there's eight major SKUs. Some have been discontinued in the past. I got to go with that one just because I don't really like the coconut on my cookie.
Interesting. I think the Samoas and Thin Mints are like my tops.
Okay.
And they're also good. The peanut butter ones are good too. But my least favorite is the trefoils, however that's said.
Oh.
And those are just like the plain biscuit type of ones.
Yeah, those are dry.
And then I actually realized that I don't think I've ever had the Adventurefuls or the Toffee Tasty.
It's been a while, but I've had the whole flight.
I don't think I've had all these. So honestly, my vote probably doesn't mean much here because I haven't even tried all of them.
Well, everyone's got a different palate, and that's why there's multiple flavors and things to choose from. Like some people probably don't like the lemon ups. If you're not a lemon fan, I know a lot of people don't like coconut, so they're probably not going to like smoke. I do like coconut. I just don't like it on the cookie.
Huh. No coconut on your cookie, yeah?
No coconut on the cookie.
That's too bad.
Let us know what you think, America, about the Girl Scouts of America.
Yeah, and are you putting your Thin Mints in the freezer? Because that's the pro move.
That's the pro move.
That's top shelf mustard moves.
That's full send TSM, not for nothing. Put your Thin Mints in the damn freezer.
Fucking own it.
All right, we're moving on. Big news came out. Everyone's heard about it by now.
Oh, my gosh, the hype train.
It's big, man. We got Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. We talked about it last night a little bit on Discussion Combustion again. This is basically like DCPC Part 2 a little bit, but this was actually written before we recorded that, so who knew? Big fight coming up July 20th. It's a Saturday night on Netflix, and there's a lot of money behind this, of course. There's going to be a lot of bets. Jake Paul coming in at 27 years old. Mike Tyson, 57 years old. I'm taking the Iron Man Mike Tyson, baby, all the way. I'm rooting for a first-round knockout, and I think he can do it.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that I recognize and understand the publicity behind all of this, and the hype train is already so big, and it's months away. I'm definitely rooting for Mike Tyson, hands down, but I am slightly concerned that there might be some pulled punches and maybe some other things happening with this fight that we're not fully aware of.
It's possible. It could be a publicity stunt.
However, let's Mike Tyson, please. Tupac Shakur used to rap about you. Please be a real one and go out there and roll some heads.
I mean, he's the man to get it done. What I find interesting is the age demographic of who's rooting for who, right?
Yeah.
Because now we're kind of in the older. If you're our generation, right, watching Mike Tyson, we all remember the Evander Holyfield fight where he bit his ear off, right? Like Tyson's had a lot of memorable moments in his fighting career. He's been fighting for 40 years, just almost 40 years, which is incredible. So, if you're kind of on the older side, I feel like 30 to 35 and up, you're going Tyson. If you're, kind of in that younger Gen Z generation, you're going to go for Jake Paul because he's a huge social media influencer. He's done all these things. He's obviously won some fights. Yeah. It's going to be a good fight, but I think Tyson's got the experience.
Yeah, but have those kids watched Mike Tyson's reels?
Probably not.
Because you just go watch on YouTube after you're done watching all of our other sister programs on this. You're going to see some awesome knockouts.
Tyson's a badass. I think everybody should know that. I mean, if you saw The Hangover that came out in 2009, we saw Zach Galifianakis take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
But
that movies.
But point is, he's that big that they put him in movies, and it's like, oh shit, you took a punch from Tyson. Like it's heard around the world. So I'm taking Tyson all the way,
baby.
Let's go Tyson. That's a big fight. I'm sure. Well, let us know, America, what you think on that too, because that's a big topic of conversation. And let's keep moving into the weekends. Friday. Hopefully the weather's good where you're at, and it stays. We got springtime. I love springtime. It's staying lighter later, guys. So fire up the grills, have some fun, do whatever you do. But if you're looking to get outdoors and have some fun, we got the Ultra Music Festival going on in Miami, Florida. That's today, tomorrow, and Sunday. I love Music Fest. Go check that out.
That sounds like a blast. If you're out there in Plano, Texas Forever Fest is happening today and tomorrow. So definitely go check that out. Good music, good eats.
Oh yeah. Tejas Forever. Gotta love Texas, man. They do things. They do things kind of fun.
And even Mexican food, the Tex-Mex.
Oh, Tex-Mex.
Come on,
yeah.
man.
And their barbecue. Sorry, Kansas City. Texas is better.
Oof.
Tasted them both.
Them is fighting words for some.
I know.
Them is fighting words for some.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of the Steelers, and where Russell Wilson just went from here in Denver, Colorado.
And also the home of Balls Out for Bowling.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. We never had a recap on how that event went.
It didn't happen yet.
Oh,
yeah,
it's in the future.
April 18th. Yeah.
It's in the future.
Yeah.
That's right. So if you like food trucks like I do, because I like food trucks, I think they're fun, we got the Food Truck Festival going on. You can get yourself some on the hook fish. You can get probably some barbecue.
Yeah.
You can probably get a bunch of things, maybe even some mac and cheese.
You know what I'd be craving? It's corn cob.
Corn cob.
Corn on cob.
Corn on the cob?
Yeah.
I like corn on the cob.
Yeah,
but I like cutting it off the cob and eating it that way. You know,
you cut it off the cob.
You get a thin slice with the cob on there. Oh, it's good.
Yeah, especially when you cooked it. You still cooked it like you grilled it or like
Absolutely.
smoked it on the cob.
100%.
And then cut the corn off cob.
Cob cooking, country boy all day.
And where are they going to be at this weekend in the Vroom Vroom Society of NASCAR?
NASCAR, baby. Austin, Texas. A lot going on in Texas this weekend. If you live in the Austin area and you've never been to a race, go check it out. This is COTA. COTA it's an acronym for Circuit of the Americas.
Okay.
This track was built for Formula One. It is a 20-turn Formula One technical racetrack.
These ones are fun to watch.
With a lot of elevation change. It's a really, really cool racetrack. It rained when we first went there. We've had some interesting races back and forth. So for all the folks that bitch, moan, and complain that all NASCAR does is turn left, well, tune in this weekend because we're going to be doing a lot of right turns.
No, it's going to be a lot of fun. And the Chicago race that they did like last year, that was awesome. So, no, these are really fun to watch. And thank you so much for tuning in and watching Kevin and I here on Happy Friday America. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do that on Instagram and Facebook. That's at Happy Friday USA. Twitter/X, Happy Fry USA. And then, of course, you can shoot us an email, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's make it a fantastic day. What's up, Fricashinas?